Hi, and welcome to Owlbutcast. Yep, making the news easier to understand. Now, today we're going to be talking about... What are you doing? Energy. But not that sort of energy. We're going to be talking about the energy that we use in our homes. It's in the news a lot for two main reasons. One, because it's getting more and more expensive and people are finding it harder and harder to pay for it. And two, because there's a possibility, a remote possibility, that we might have a shortage of energy this winter. Now, we'll begin by telling you that there are two types of energy. There's renewable energy and non-renewable energy. Easy to understand. By renewable energy, we mean things like solar, like hydro, which is water, and wind. So you've all seen the wind turbines probably out at sea, or some of them are on the land. They all produce energy, or help to produce energy. Now, the non-renewables are the things that we have to drill for or mine for. So there's coal, there's oil, there's gas. And there's one other form of energy that we have in our house, which is neither renewable nor non-renewable, and that's electricity. You can't find electricity, you can't drill for electricity, you can't mine for electricity, and neither can you have electricity provided by nature. Electricity is made, and that's what the power stations all around the country do. Now, those power stations have to get their energy from somewhere. So there are gas-fired power stations, there are coal-fired power stations, there are nuclear power stations, and all of that requires energy. So let's look at how we use energy in our homes. It's used everywhere. It's used to heat the house. It's used to light the house. It's used in all the equipment that you have in the house, the televisions, the phones. You can't charge your phone, well you can, but you can't really charge your phone very well without a charger. It's used in the games consoles you use. So we use energy for a lot of things, mainly electricity, some gas, very little coal these days. So let's look at ways that you could possibly help save some energy. And I'm talking to our owlets, our little followers. I'm not talking to parents here. There's lots of things you can do as well. I'm sure you know it. The government were going to do a campaign about how to save energy, but it would have cost £15 million. Billion, I don't know. It would cost money. So they decided not to do it because they thought the energy companies were doing their own. And probably newspapers are doing it as well. But this is just for you little ones, ways that you could actually help your parents save some energy. Now, the obvious way is turn off any lights that you don't need. When you leave a room, turn the light off, shut the door. Shutting the door keeps any heat in that room in. So that's something that you youngsters can do. Now, did you know that if you keep your PlayStation on standby, you actually are using energy while it's there? Anybody using a PlayStation for 2 hours a day and leaving it on standby will use about 20p of energy a day. Now, that doesn't sound much as a day, but if you take it out over a year, 20p a day, that's £1.40 a week, 52 weeks in a year, that's about £70 that you are going to be spending. Turn it off when you're not using it, and it will save energy. Another thing is, depending on how your shower is heated, but it's probably heated from a gas boiler or electric boiler or some sort of way, you can have shorter showers. Said that well. If you normally shower for 8 minutes and now shower for 4 minutes, if you have 5 showers a week, why are you dirty on 2 days? I don't know why you're dirty on 2 days. But if you have 5 showers a week and you cut it from 8 minutes to 4 minutes, you'll save £70. You'd also save a lot more if you bathed in a puddle. Well, I know you do, but mainly humans don't. But anyway, so that's another way that you could save some energy. And it's not only plugging in PlayStations or leaving PlayStations on. Any appliance like a kettle, like a fan, like a phone charger in fact, uses energy while it's switched on, even if it's not charging a phone. So again, turn those things off and that will save some energy and help your parents or whoever pays the energy bill to save a little bit more. The other thing that was in the news last week was we were being told we might have blackouts during the winter. We might not have power for certain periods. Now, back in 1973, which is 50 years ago very nearly, we had some disputes amongst the coal miners and the government. Now, that's another thing, by the way. Maybe next week we'll talk about strikes, but the mine workers went on strike, and that meant they were not producing coal. A lot of our power stations were powered by coal, and so there was a fear that maybe we wouldn't have enough electricity. So in order to cope with that, on the 1st of January 1974, I think it was, the government said you would lose electricity for a certain amount of time each day, and it was in different areas. So living at home, you might have the power go off between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock at night. You were told in advance, so you could cook your dinner at 5 o'clock, or you could cook your dinner at 10 o'clock, depending how you were. Television stations were told to close at 10:30, so people wouldn't be watching television after 10:30. And I worked up in London then, in the city of London, and the way it worked in businesses is that half of the way we did it anyway, half of the office had power in the mornings and the other half had power in the afternoons. Yes, it was possible to go and take your electric calculator. What on earth is an electric calculator? Don't worry about it. Take your electric calculator over and plug it in the other side, but I don't think we ever did that. And we actually, some people had hand-operated calculators. Yes. Thank you. But that's what happened. So I think it's very unlikely, but nevertheless, we have been told that there might be blackouts. And just very quickly, if there is, this is the sort of thing perhaps you need to know. Have a torch and know where it is. It's no good saying, oh, I left the torch there, hang on, the lights have gone out, I can't find the torch. You are luckier than we are, because most of you who've got a mobile phone will have a torch on your mobile phone. But then you have to keep your mobile phone charged, otherwise that torch won't work. And you have to know where your mobile phone is, because otherwise you'll be searching for it in the dark. So have a torch handy. If there's a power cut, don't turn off everything, but leave one light on, because otherwise you could be sitting in the dark for an extra 3 hours over everybody else because you didn't know it had come back on again. And the other thing, importantly in a way, if you know of any old people or any people who are housebound, check on them. See how they're doing. Yes, thank you. Very nice of you to check on me. See how they're doing. Can you see in the dark? You're not telling? Maybe. Okay. So check on them as well. But us young and healthy, I knew you'd do that. Us fit, young and healthy people, thank you, we can bear it a little bit more. And it's good to help save a bit of energy. Okay, so we'll be back next week. We won't have a power cut next week. Famous last words, Richard, but we won't. So we'll see you then. Take care. Bye.